Hello, my love, and welcome to the Energy Expansion Podcast. I am your host, Dani Kenney. If you are new here, we are overjoyed to have you. And I've got to say, you chose a heck of an episode to dive into. And if you are one of our loyal listeners, thank you for coming back again and again. I cannot wait to hear what you think about this episode. And I've got to be completely honest with you, I am feeling all kinds of feels, like more feels than I normally would as we're diving into this today. For people who are close to me, talking about business besties, non-business besties, I'm trying to think of who knows about this. And I also want to pause as I'm recording this. I'm in my office and my office window is so large and so beautiful. And gosh, I wish you could see what I'm seeing right now. But can you hear that little bird chirping in the background? I really truly hope that if you can hear it, that you are enjoying it as much as I am and not finding it distracting. I feel like this bird is wanting to communicate something to us. Many of you know that I've been on a journey since fall of last year with a master practitioner certification. I often talk about it as the NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming Master Practitioner certification, which is true. That is what it is. But there's so much more included. The practitioner level of things I was trained in are NLP, EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, time techniques, which I use almost every single day, clinical hypnotherapy, life and success coaching, and then a very specific form of healing through the certification program that I went through originally. And then the master level certification includes all of those. And the one that I chose to go through also includes breath work. So I am a breath work facilitator, and I've been weaving this into a lot of the experiences that I lead, especially the breakthrough days and breakthrough experiences, which, little plug here, we're still very much in. We've got like a week and a half left of April, and we're offering 50% off of our DKC breakthrough days and breakthrough experiences. Reach out to me if you're interested in learning more about that. And it also includes Reiki, this master practitioner certification. And so, yes, I work with energy. Yes, I am highly intuitive. Yes, this has been the case for the last 7 or 8 years, but I am now officially allowed to use and trained in using Reiki. And the way that you become Reiki attuned is through a very powerful ceremony with a Reiki master who can pass on the gift of Reiki. I'm new to all of this, like literally within the last hour, and I'm very excited. I was on the verge of tears while this was happening. All of that being said, I infused Reiki into our podcast outline for today, and that was a little squirrel moment because I feel like the bird has been at my window nonstop talking since the Reiki attunement. And I think that there's some sort of energetic connection there. But going back, everything I just shared was important and necessary, but I think it was a way for me to avoid diving into what we're going to talk about today, which I am genuinely excited about. But again, I also have some feels because it's really vulnerable. And I'm going to be sharing an experience with you that a lot of people did not even know that I was going to be participating in. A lot of people didn't know that I had even done this, wanted to do this. You might hear aspects of what I'm going to share with you and think to yourself, WTF, Dani. There's a very high likelihood that what I'm going to share with you, maybe you've never even heard of this before. And fun fact, when I'm recording a podcast episode, I typically don't choose the title of the podcast episode until after it's recorded. I think that's actually pretty common, but I was giggling to myself, and there is a very high likelihood that this podcast episode is going to be called Let That Shh Go. I'm not going to say it because sometimes we've got some younger ears listening, but you know what I mean. Let that go. And the subtitle is going to be From Kambo to Colonics. We are just running the gamut today. So I had a friend this past weekend reflect back to me as I was sharing that two Fridays ago, had the absolute privilege and honor of working with a powerful sacred medicine known as Kambo. That's what I'm going to share with you today. And then the very next Friday, so exactly 1 week after my Kambo ceremony, which definitely has to do with releasing, letting go, purging physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, all of those things. The very next Friday, 7 days later, I gifted myself the experience of a colonic, which I'd had that experience before. A version of Dani a year ago would hear me talking right now and say, "What are we doing? Why are we doing this? You've absolutely lost your mind, woman." And I would say, you know what? We found ourselves. We found our mind. We're good. It's golden. And so it actually aligned. Many of you know that for many, many months now, I've been on a health journey, massive health upgrades, feeling absolutely incredible, a laundry list of benefits. And, one of the really fun, exciting things is exactly this time last year. Oh my gosh, there's so many synchronicities that I realized as I was putting this together. And there's going to be other synchronicities that I know that I'm going to realize in real time. But this time last year, I was recording podcast episodes talking about this weight on my body and how I wasn't feeling good physically and I couldn't get to the bottom of it. And here we are 1 year later, and I feel more amazing physically, mentally, emotionally than I have felt in a really long time. And the number on the scale, I feel like that is the least of my worries, to be honest. But it is really beautiful when you look at the scale and it's the lowest number that you've seen in years. It was this physical weight that I was carrying, but I know that underneath that, there was something so much more, something so much deeper happening. And so I just had that realization. I just had that aha. So let's dive into Kambo. There's a piece of me where I'm like, oh my goodness, where do we even start? And again, there's going to be a few of you, a small handful of you who are listening today, and you're going to be like, yes, finally, she's finally sharing about it. And I have to tell you that regardless of if you knew about this, my experience, my desires, if you've heard of this medicine before, I was not even sure that I was going to ever share this publicly. Before the Kambo ceremony, I didn't know if I would share it. Even after having such a beautiful, powerful experience, there was a part of me that really just wanted to keep this for myself. And I think that's okay. If you have a personal brand, I very much consider DKC, it's my literal name, Dani Kenney Coaching. I consider that a personal brand. You do not have to share every single thing in your life. I don't, first of all. And I think that there are things that you go through that I kept saying that I wanted to keep this one closer to the vest. I have my hands over my heart right now because it just felt so meaningful. And I actually I didn't know when, I knew at some time I wanted to share this because I know that this is going to make a difference for someone. My story, you might want to explore Kambo, you might want to explore something else. There might be something in my experience that has nothing to do with the medicine that sparks something within you. And anytime I'm ever going to share anything, it's with the deepest hope, desire, and intention that it makes a difference for the woman on the other end receiving it. And so I want to dive into this. Kambo. I am not an expert on this, but we'll just start with the basics. So the idea of Kambo was first inserted into my subconscious mind 10 years ago. 10 years ago, funny enough, I was at I don't know why it's funny, but it is funny to me. I was at the library because every Tuesday morning I would take my little kids to the library for story time, as some mothers do. I loved doing stuff like that. And there was a mom there who was really going through it. There was stuff happening energetically and emotionally. There was big stuff happening inside of her marriage. And we weren't best friends by any means. We had developed a little bit of closeness. I'd say we were more acquaintances than friends. And I think she's lovely. And I think we're still connected on social media. But she felt compelled to share with me that she was going to be going to a Kambo retreat. And I just sort of like looked at her sideways, like, what? And when she started telling me about the Kambo, I remember thinking, this person has literally lost her absolute mind. She lost her mind. And there's a part of me, I think, that I was also why I was hesitant to share this is because that was my legitimate first reaction. And I think it is a totally appropriate when you hear more about Kambo. I think it's an appropriate first reaction. Regardless of that, it was sort of lodged in my subconscious mind. And I got to see her over the coming weeks, and it really made a difference for her. And she was really happy. And at the end of the day, I've got to tell you, I'm not naturally a very judgmental person. And I think it goes really well with the body of work that I practice and the work that I do and how I serve, where I truly believe, I think we talked about this on a recent podcast episode. If it didn't ever make it to the podcast, it was one of the live videos that I did recently, where there are 8.3 billion people on the planet, in case you didn't know. 8.3 billion people, which means there are literally 8.3 billion different realities. There is no one worldview that is the same. There just isn't, because your worldview is made up of your beliefs, your patterns, your experiences, your unique way of growing up, things that happen generationally and through past lives. And so I have a very clear understanding of that. And so the human in me might think that something's crazy. If I'm being completely honest, babe, I just want what's best for you. I was very happy that this mom was experiencing exactly what she wanted from this thing called Kambo. And let's actually dive into that component. So Kambo is not a plant medicine per se, because it doesn't come from a plant, but I want to say it's a natural medicine because it comes from nature. Sit down, buckle up. We're going to dig into it. It comes from a frog. It comes from a very specific type of frog, and it is specifically frog venom that is used. Okay. So notice how you feel when you hear that. I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait to do this again. But when I first heard it from that mom, I was like, you're doing what with your skin? You're putting what inside of your body? This is nuts. But needless to say that, again, Kambo thing was lodged into my subconscious mind. And I think over the years, specifically more and more over the last 3 to 4 years, my energy has opened up and been really curious. And the interesting thing about this is I never actually vocalized this until recently. Okay. So many of you know that I went to an event, funny enough, exactly 1 month ago from the moment of this live recording. I was sitting in that room as I'm looking at the calendar on my computer, and it's called the Energetics of Business. And I had the opportunity to turn it into a little staycation, and I rented a darling Airbnb with 2 women who mean the absolute world to me. One of them is my aunt. Hello, Auntie Kimberly, who I know is a very loyal listener. She's a super special soul in my life. And she connected me with another amazing woman named Diana, who Diana and Kimberly are amazing friends. And Diana is a one-on-one client of mine. And it's been such a joy to get to work with her. And I share this with you because if you remember, and maybe you don't, maybe you're new around here, exactly a year ago, there's so many timing things here. When I was going through it a year ago, I had said yes to my first ever plant medicine ceremony, working with the medicine psilocybin. Okay, so it was like a full dose of psilocybin. It was a intimate group of women who I love, who I adore. We were together at a beautiful home in Lake Arrowhead. And so the women that I roomed with for the Energetics of Business last month are also the women who I experienced my plant medicine ceremony with exactly a year ago. You with me on that? And so one of the evenings when we were in our jammies, we were sitting in the living room and we were just chatting. We were talking about plant medicine, and we were talking about what has unfolded since our time together last year and the different things that we have felt called to. And for the first time ever out loud, I said, do you know what I'm really interested in exploring? And they looked at me like, what? And I said, I'm interested in working with Kambo. And you could tell in that moment from my interpretation, that neither of them have much of an interest in Kambo, but they were nodding like, okay, cool. You do you, boo. And it actually felt really good and really freeing to say it out loud. I'd never said it out loud before. And again, it's something that I've thought about quite a bit over the last few years. So I say this, and then what do? I'm like really bringing you into this because the synchronicities are so freaking powerful. So I go to bed that night, like I'm laying in bed, and what do? Before I go to bed, I grab my phone, I'm laying there in the dark, and I'm scrolling through stories, and there's a woman who I love so much. Her name is Aubrey. She means the world to me, and I click on her stories, and what is she sharing about? For the first time ever, she is publicly sharing about her experience with Kambo and how it changed her life. And if you're not freaking out right now, what are you even doing? I was losing my ever-loving mind. Like, are you kidding me? And I told her that. I was typing out to her like, Aubrey, this is crazy. Thank you so much for sharing this. Like, she was really going into the ins and outs of her experience. And I said, I've been so curious about this. And I literally just 30 minutes ago said out loud for the first time that I want to have an experience with Kambo. So we wake up the next day, we're getting ready to do our thing. And one of the reasons why I had never actually pursued it is because I don't know who serves Kambo. I didn't even know that's how you said it. Like, who works with Kambo? Where do you find Kambo? Like, where do you buy Kambo from? How does this work? It just felt like so many unknowns. And so as Kimberly, Diana, and myself are getting ready to go for the day, I say out loud, I bet you that there is someone in that room today at the Energetics of Business, just because I know the nature of the community. There's somebody at the Energetics of Business who serves Kambo, and I'm going to meet them today. Like, I'm going to find my Kambo person. Literally declared that. So we were there the day before for the special intimate VIP day, but we're walking into the full-blown day one. You're going to freak out. I hope you're freaking out with me right now. So we walk in, and fun little side tangent here is there was an affiliate competition. So my coach, my friend, my mentor, Aaron, who's the founder of the Energetics of Business, said whoever promotes the Energetics of Business to their people and gets the most people to sign up, you're going to win a competition. You get dinner. Do you know who won? If you guessed DKC, you are correct. And so we ended up having 10 women there, 10 women from the DKC soul family there at the Energetics of Business. Gosh, the layers here and the nuance, and it's just so darn good. Here's the thing though, one of the women, Kristen, who bought her ticket and she would have needed to fly in from out of state, wasn't able to make it. So she gifted her ticket to a local friend named Svetlana. And so I walked in and I told the DKC Soul Fam, we've got to be on the lookout for a woman named Svetlana because I've never met her before. I literally don't even know what she looks like, but she's our person and I want her to feel welcome. Svetlana, funny enough, ends up sitting at the same table with Kimberly and Diana. And on the first break of the day, Kimberly runs over to me and goes, Dani, can you guess what Svetlana does? And I'm thinking to myself, All right, love, real quick pause because I have to tell you about something that is truly life-changing. If you've been in my world for any amount of time, then there is a 99.9% chance that you have heard me talk about Energy Expansion Academy, which is my signature group coaching program where I teach the exact tools, rituals, mindset shifts that helped me create a life that goes beyond my wildest dreams and has transformed the lives of hundreds of women that I've had the honor of serving. And for the first time ever, it is now available as a self-paced experience. That means you get to move through this powerful transformation on your own terms and your own timing and in full alignment with your life. This is for the woman who's ready to shift her energy, elevate her mindset, and finally become the most confident, fulfilled, and successful version of herself. without the hustle, without the overwhelm, and without the second guessing. If you've been feeling the nudge to join us inside of EEA, then this, my love, is your sign. You'll find the link in the show notes or just DM me EEA on Instagram and I'll personally send it your way. Now, let's get back to the episode that you came for. No, you want to tell me? And she goes, she works with Kambo. And I almost fell over. I need to pause there for a second. Can you believe that? So the weekend goes by. I am all over Svetlana. Like, okay, I want to do this. I'm serious about this. Tell me all about it. And the more she's talking about it, the more I'm nodding my head. I didn't even know why people did Kambo. It was just in my energy. In human design, I'm a 1-3 sacral manifesting generator. All of those different pieces, literally the profile lines of 1-3, my sacral authority, and my manifesting generatorness, all of this makes sense, but I'm very much a vibes person. Like, I will feel excited and lit up by things, and I don't know why. Like, I don't even know very much about them. It doesn't logically make sense, but I've learned that I've got to follow that pull. I've got to follow that nudge. And so everything Svetlana was telling me about it, I was like, yeah. And honestly, there were even things she was being really honest, like talking about the science and the spiritual aspect and the energetics and how it's administered and what to expect and what she's experienced and all the things. And I was just nodding like, yep, I get it. I get why I'm drawn to it. I get why I want to have this experience. And even some of the like not so pretty things that she had shared with me, I was still a full body yes to it. So we had originally booked I want to pause here. So many of you know I just had my 39th birthday. It all worked out perfectly. I was very intentional about this. I'm really intentional about every single thing that I do in my life. Not just big, I would say this is a big thing, the Kambo ceremony. Not just things like this, but like as I move through my day, why I choose to do things, when I choose to do them. And so I like to gift myself a healing session right around my birthday every year. My birthday is April 5th. And the way that the Kambo is served and administered, I wanted to be really strategic. Hi, I'm also a mom of 3, and I got to drop kids off at school and pick kids up, and I have a full business and a full calendar. And so I originally booked it for Friday, April 3rd, the Friday leading up to my birthday, which also happened to be Good Friday. So lots of spiritual meaning around this. Well, when I booked it, I did not realize that it was my kids' spring break and all 3 of my kids were going to be home. So that just was not going to work. So I said, hey, babe, can we bump it back 1 week to Friday, April 10th? And she was like, yup, sounds good. So on the morning of April 10th, I did something that I do almost every single day, which is kind of small. You might seem a little silly, but it has me feel some sort of a way. And that way is good and grateful and nostalgic. But I will open up my Facebook and I will click on memories, and every single day without fail, sometimes in the morning, sometimes later in the day if I forget to do it earlier, I look at my memories. I like to know, what was I doing this time last year or 3 years ago? Or if you're like me and you've had Facebook for 15 years, sometimes it'll literally say what you were doing 15 years ago. And wouldn't you know it, I did not have a conscious awareness of this, clearly, because I needed to reschedule it. It was just like, hey, it has to happen on a Friday. That's my lightest work day. I originally wanted it on the 3rd, so it was kind of quote unquote random when I was like, can we bump it back? Can we bump it back by 1 week? No problem. So again, I opened up my phone on April 10th and realized that on April 10th of last year was when I was walking in to the plant medicine ceremony at Lake Arrowhead. Exactly 1 year to the day. And just that really solidified. Like, I knew this was such a yes from the get-go, such a yes, but like life was presenting me with all these other signs, like really amplifying my yes. So very excited. Let's actually go into now the ceremony. What happens with the ceremony? So there is some prep that goes into it. We'll dive into that in just a second, but Svetlana was planning on coming pretty early in the morning, and here's why. You actually have to fast. It's important that the Kambo ceremony happens on an empty stomach because purging is absolutely part of the experience. So you can purge in different ways. Purging can come up and out, right? Talking about vomiting is never fun, but that's a very common thing with different types of plant medicines, especially if the intention is to energetically release. It can come out as you're going to the bathroom in different ways, different parts of the bottom. It can also come out as excessive sweat. But she did share with me that vomiting was a really common form of the purging, the way that this works. And again, there's no part of me that's excited about throwing up. I don't know anyone who genuinely likes that. It's really uncomfortable. It's really vulnerable. But the deeper intention of this energetic releasing is what I was a yes to. And however that needed to happen, like I was committed. So she got to my house in the morning because I had been fasting since the early evening the previous night. We blocked out 3 hours. So we blocked out 9 to noon. It was very efficient. It didn't take that long. She was, I think, in totality here for just over 2 hours. And as soon as she got here, the first thing she had me do was drink an uncomfortable amount of warm water. It was 60 ounces, which might not sound like a lot. I drink a lot of water throughout the day. I'm a very hydrated person, but the thing is, you have to drink 60 ounces in a relatively short window of time. So it can be hard for your body to process this. So it's warm water with sea salt, drinking kind of as much as you can, as fast as you can. And while I was finishing up drinking the water, Svetlana prepared on my body what is known as the gates. The gates are the small openings through your skin. I think it's called the epidermis, is the very top layer of your skin. And so that has to be removed so that the combo, the actual medicine, can be placed on your skin. And that's where it enters. So honestly, I think that this is really badass. And I now have these little marks. I chose to have it done on the left side of my body, to the left of my stomach. And I love it. I think it actually at this point looks really cool. I purposely chose the left side because left represents the feminine side of us, our feminine energy. And I feel like that's something that I'm always working on tapping more into. And the feminine is also our receiver, the one in us who is open to receiving. So again, every little thing about this was infused with so much thought and care and intention. And it actually felt really good because Svetlana mentioned that. She was like, whoa, I really love how intentional you're being about this entire experience. And you better believe before she got here, I spent the entire morning in prayer, in meditation. I was journaling. I was doing my own energy clearing. And so I digress, but she ends up making these gates. So how is a gate made? She makes a small, quick burn. Yes, she set up the most beautiful altar space, and the altar space had different tools that she was using and working with for the ceremony. So she puts this tool underneath the candlelight and then presses it to my skin. And that was honestly the only part that hurt. And it's just for a minute. Like, she's so loving and so gentle. And I'm going to send this episode to her. But Svetlana, there's literally no one else in the world I would have rather had this experience with. Anyone listening, if you're local to San Diego, if you're not already connected to this woman, please reach out to me so I can connect you with her. I will be doing this again. And honestly, I want to have this experience again sooner rather than later. It's not something that I see myself doing 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 more times, but I am feeling called to have a second experience. There's like something else for me still there. I can feel it. And then I think there'll be this like point of completion of like, okay, cool. I've got what I needed. And there'll probably be quite a bit of time before I engage in it again. But I'm sharing this with you because clearly I loved it if I'm already ready to dive back in. So she makes these 3 burns. I think that's pretty common is 3 gates. And then after the burns, she gently scrapes the skin off, which sounds terrible. But after the burn, I was like numb. And so she, at that point, scrapes the skin off and then starts with one little circle of Kambo. So she starts with 1 for the first 5 minutes just to see how your body reacts. So she placed a little, it's like a clear gel, the frog venom. She is so masterful in how she works with it and shapes it just right to be the exact right size as the gate, the part of the open skin on my side. And so she went ahead and she put that first one on, and I felt it immediately. I mean, within 30 seconds. And I think part of it too is because depending on, you can put the gates like literally anywhere on your body. My friend Aubrey, who I ended up reaching out to, if you remember Aubrey, it was her social media that I was scrolling through and I was messaging her. So it was a couple days before my ceremony where I called Aubrey and I had a million questions. Aubrey's also a mom. I think she has actually four. I have three kids. I think that's a lot. She has four kids. And so I was wanting to get her take on all of it. And so she actually ended up having her gates on her ankle, like further down on her body, because it takes the combo a little bit longer to work up to, I think, like your heart space and like where the blood is pumping from. And so because my gates were right on my side, and literally our physical heart is on our left side, so my gates were really close to my heart where the blood is pumping out of. And so I felt it within 30 seconds. I got, how did I feel? So there was this warmth. There was like a little bit of dizziness, nothing that felt unsafe or scary. It kind of felt like my head was like wah wah wah. You know what I mean? Whenever that happens, there was like kind of pressure in my head, and I just kind of closed my eyes and I took some deep breaths, and it was really intense at first for the first minute. And then it quickly subsided. And I opened my eyes and I looked at her and I was like, okay, like I felt it and I feel good. So she immediately put Kambo on the other two gates and it kicked in right away. I could already start to feel what was wanting to come up and out. And I'm like, I don't know how much of this I want to let you in on. Again, throwing up, vomiting. I don't enjoy it. I've never met anyone who's like, yeah, that is my favorite thing. But again, I was excited about it because of what it was going to represent energetically, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the things, like everything that needed to come up and out. And so I had just a little bucket with me, and that's what I was using for a majority of the time. And at that exact moment in time, I was getting over a cold and I was really congested, and there was an insane amount of mucus that like I could not get rid of. And you know that feeling, having that extra stuff in your nose, in your sinuses, wherever it lives in your respiratory system. And she actually said that, Kambo, if you're sick in bed with the fever, you don't want to be doing anything like this. But when you're on the tail end of it, like I was, she shared that it's a really good idea. And I could literally see the stuff that was having me be physically ill come up and out. Like it was so interesting. And yeah, it was a really healing experience, to be honest. And while this is going on, she has these amazing instruments and tools, and there's gentle music, like nature sounds in the background. And I think she's like spraying me with something and she's chanting and singing. Oh, it was amazing. And leading up to this, she had me pull a card, and the card had me in tears. And while I'm holding, my little trash receptacle and being loved on, there was one clear message that was coming up. And it was interesting because it was coming up in the form of plural. And it was, we are here to help you learn how to let go. We're here to help you learn how to let go. It wasn't just let go, let go, let go, let go. It was, we're here. Now, who are we? I don't know. And I don't need to know. We, whoever that was, felt loving and gentle and caring and benevolent. We could have been God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. We could have been the Trinity. I'm going to claim that it was the Trinity. We could have been my guides and my ancestors. We could have been however Kambo manifests itself, however the medicine is manifested. And so we are here to help you learn how to let go. And I've got to be completely honest with you that I was not super excited about that lesson. Is anybody excited about needing to learn how to let go? I mean, again, just like I'm not excited about vomiting, I am excited about the powerful, energetic, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical impact of release. And so, yes, on one hand, there is a part of me that is excited about learning how to let go, but letting go can be hard and can be scary and can be confronting. And change, I struggle with change. I think most humans do struggle with change. And so, although I wasn't like, yes, this is my favorite message in the world, there was something about it that just felt comforting. Like, whatever I'm supposed to let go of, I don't have to do it by myself. And I don't have to know how to do it. I don't have to have it all figured out because I'm being guided, I'm being held, and I'm learning. You with me on all of that? So, we're here to help you learn how to let go. We're here to help you learn how to let go. That was the lesson. And there was the physical, the literal purging that came with that I was totally fine with, totally here for. And I was really excited. And even just like right now, we are like a week and a half. It hasn't even been 2 full weeks. We're a week and a half out from that experience, and I just feel really good, and I feel lighter, and things feel clearer and brighter, and just feels really good. So the thing to know about this, I like efficiency. I like things to happen quickly and swiftly. And again, Svetlana was only here for about 2 hours. That's like prep time, cleaning up time, giving her a hug goodbye, sending her off into her day. The Kambo, the medicine, is only on your skin for about 30 minutes is typical. I think mine was only on for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then we slowly started moving into integration. And so just kind of being there, letting myself regain my center, noticing what I was feeling. I did a lot of that with my eyes closed, and I was feeling really tender, really good, but really tender. And we had this kind of beautiful conversation about the experience. And then there was the invitation to close out with another type of medicine. It's tobacco. And I've heard it pronounced as hape. Svetlana calls it rape. Again, a sacred tobacco that is blown into the nostrils, and it's used for grounding, clearing. You can use it for different things. This is not at all a required part of the experience. It is 100% optional. And I've experienced hape before. The first time I experienced it was when I was on retreat 2 years ago in Greece, and I had the opportunity to serve myself. So there's different ways to do this. There's different, I don't know what you would call them, a receptacle. I don't like that because that sounds like I'm talking about garbage. And this is not garbage. This is sacred tobacco, but like a container that you would use. And so there's one specifically for serving yourself where you have one end of it in your nose and the other end of it in your mouth. And so you are able to blow into it, and then it shoots the tobacco up into your nose. And then there's a different beautiful sacred tool that we'll use if someone else is going to serve you. And so I really enjoyed hape a lot in Greece when I was serving myself. It was light, it was gentle. I felt like I was in control. I think there's also an element of control that there was like a lesson in not just letting go, but like letting go of control that I think I forgot about. And I'm just now remembering, because even me sharing this with you feels like my own healing, my own personal integration. And I really liked hape when I was in control. And there's also different blends. There's different intensities. There's a different amount you can use. So I really liked it when I did it then. I also had the opportunity and was encouraged to use it last year at the psilocybin plant medicine ceremony because I was feeling stuck in the experience. And that's when hape can be helpful in a ceremony like the one that I did last year. It was a little bit different though, because it was only my second time using it, and it was my first time being served by someone else. And the serve was a little too strong for me. I did not really enjoy the experience. But when Svetlana was sitting in front of me, I really liked the idea of having this experience with her and grounding into it. And so I shared that with her. I shared my experience. So she said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use a gentle blend. We're not going to use very much. And I'm going to serve you so slowly. Gentle blend, gentle serve. and I fully trusted her. So she preps everything. She leans forward. She does the prayer and the whisper. And I closed my eyes, and it was so gentle that I almost didn't feel it until it was already done. And you do one nostril and then you do the other one. And so she did it, and I sat back, and it just, oh my gosh, it was heavenly. It was amazing. Like, no words. I'm just reflecting on it right now. And so I'm sitting there just integrating, grounding, letting the hape, the sacred tobacco, reach where it needs to reach, do its thing. And while I'm doing that, she puts on a song, just chooses a song, doesn't ask me anything. And the split second I hear the first melody of the song, I know what song it is. And tears just start streaming down my face. It's a song. I don't know the artist off the top of my head, which is silly because I play this song all the time. But the song is called Oh, I Love You. And there are not very many words. Literally, the only words are I love you, oh, I love you. And the majority of it is instrumental. When I heard this song for the first time a year ago, I remember crying and feeling how meaningful this song was. And it's a song that I feel very connected to for me. It reminds me of a song you'd listen to when you're doing inner child work. It's a song when you want to amplify self-love. And so she's playing this song, and I am just honestly bawling, not sad at all. And if I was sad, that would be fine, but that's not what it was. It was remembering, it was recognition, it was grounding into truth. And I just rocked back and forth, and I held myself. I wrapped my arms around myself, and I was hugging myself and rubbing my arms, just like basically doing inner child work is what I was doing. I'm saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dani. Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you, Kambo. Thank you, Hape. Thank you, everything. Thank you, 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 thank you. Just on repeat. And it was so healing. And we hugged, and she packed up her things, and then that was it. And then I got to relax and integrate and do some more journaling and sitting out in the sun. And that was it. That was what my Kambo experience was. And it was beautiful and it was perfect. And like I said, I am really excited to have another experience with this medicine. I feel very, very, very connected to this medicine. Okay, so just taking a few deep breaths here. You can take a few deep breaths with me, noticing what you're feeling in your body. I'm noticing what I'm feeling in my body. I'm looking at the amount of time that we've spent together today, knowing what's on my calendar for the rest of the day today. And I know that I was, in a cheeky way, talking about today's podcast episode, what the title was going to be and the subtitle. And I don't think that we're going to be able to dig into as much of the health journey component as I thought we might be able to. And also, that is 100% okay. But I did not intentionally plan to have one Friday be the Kambo ceremony where I was learning how to let go. And then the very next Friday to be fasting as part of a metabolic mastery. And when we're fasting inside of this program, the invitation is to align your fast with a colonic. Again, at the beginning of the episode, I shared, I cannot believe Dani this time last year would be listening to this podcast episode. Honestly, feeling confused, but Dani last year would be like, dude, you're a badass. Like, we are so badass. What are we even doing right now? Let's freaking go. And so colonics are not something, I feel like I need to say this. I had a couple people reach out to me, specifically people I love. Everybody who reached out, I love very much. And I know that their messages are coming from love. And they are people who have nursing backgrounds. There's one person in particular who reached out with a nursing background and in a cheeky way said, as an ex-nurse, I literally can't believe that people are paying for this kind of stuff, LOL. And I get it. I'm not sure exactly what that person knows. I wasn't trained in nursing. But what I do know, if I'm being completely honest, I'm very grateful for Western medicine. And I think that Western medicine for sure has a place and a space. And if something happens to me and I have an emergency or my family has an emergency, you better believe that I will be so grateful for and indebted to the doctors and nurses who help me and my family. No doubt about it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So important. And on the flip side of that coin, I think what we know for sure is the healthcare system is a business, and businesses need to make money. And the healthcare system, which I've heard referred to as the health sick system, does not profit if we are well, right? And so the last few wellness experiences that I have had with Western medicine have severely, severely, severely let me down. One of them was shortly after River was born, and I digress. Shortly after Hannah was born, and we were testing out different kinds of birth control that would be okay for me to take while I was breastfeeding. And I was not feeling well. I was not feeling well mentally and emotionally. And I scheduled an appointment with my doctor, and I said, could it have anything to do with the new birth control that you put me on a few months ago? And she said, oh no, absolutely not. That medicine would not have anything to do with you feeling this way. And I know for a fact she believed what she was saying. I know for a fact she wasn't lying to me. Like, I don't think she's bad or malicious. But when she said that, my body knew, stop taking the medicine. She does not know what she's talking about. And she was very adamant about me continuing to take the birth control. Do not stop the birth control. I walked out of that office. I never took birth control again. I instantly started feeling better. And then I became pregnant. Surprise! Because that's what happens when you're not taking birth control. Then it all worked out just fine. So that was a really sad, disappointing experience when I realized, and it was actually maybe not sad, maybe not disappointing, because it was a lesson for me to notice what I was feeling in my body. One, not feeling well, but two, the way that my body was talking to me louder than that doctor was. Then about 3 years ago, I was switching healthcare, was getting my kids set up with their doctors, figured I'd go in just for a regular wellness check. And I had shared with the doctor I was seeing, again, lovely, not a bad thing to say about this doctor, but I was experiencing a lot of brain fog, tons of fatigue, was not feeling well, was not feeling like myself. And do you know what she did? She prescribed me an antidepressant. That was what she did. And I'm not knocking antidepressants. I'm not saying that they don't serve a purpose. Even when I say that out loud, I'm like, I think collectively we need to look at this. And I knew in my bones that that was not the path for me. And so where I'm going with this is the gut reset that I did. Did you guys know that our gut is referred to as our second brain? Our gut has everything to do with our emotions. And so I started this health upgrade journey last August, and all of the symptoms that I took to my doctor 3 years ago are gone. They're gone through healing my gut. And the antidepressant that I was prescribed destroys. Science shows this, destroys your gut. I'm not a doctor. Do not take medical advice from me. And this is all going to be wrapped up here in the next couple of minutes in like a nice little bubble. But here's what I want to say to anyone who looks at any mine or anyone else's. And I'm not sharing this with you to try to convince other people of other things. I'm sharing this with you because you might be in a position where you're wanting to feel better. You're looking at things like Kambo or Colonics, but people in your life who know better than you, who went to med school or nursing school, say you're crazy and are making you feel bad. I want you to know that those people don't know everything, and they don't know what they don't know. And only you know what is right and good and true for you. And so I couldn't stop thinking about that, where I was like, okay, there's this woman coming from the medical fields who's trained in a certain way, but also has zero awareness about what's actually going on with the human body when it comes to overall vitality and well-being. And there we go. I got to fit in the colonic piece there. So I am obsessed with my Kambo experience. I am so grateful to have the tool of a colonic and the magic that it does for my gut and supporting me when I'm in states of autophagy, which is the highest form of cellular healing. And no, I'm not planning on doing them every day. I'm maybe planning on doing one or two a year when I fast. That is it. Some people were like, don't do too many of those. I get it. I get it. Everything in moderation. But as we close out, here's what I want to share with you. Here's our final message. I feel like I so masterfully weaved those things in. But what I want to share is that I don't think that Kambo is for everybody. I don't think that colonics are for everybody. This is an invitation for you more than anything to notice, what are those inner curiosities? What are the things that you are wanting to know more about? Is there something in you that feels lit up about having a particular experience? And I really want to give you permission to say those things out loud. That moment when I said out loud, I'm curious about Kambo, set the next 24 hours into motion in a way that I could never have believed. And then a few weeks later, literally 1 month to the day, I met Svetlana on March 21st, and today is April 21st. And I am a completely different person because I had the courage to speak out loud. Something that I was wanting, something that I was excited about, something that felt a little bit edgy and a little bit crazy. And I said it in a space where I knew that I was loved, where I knew that I was safe, and it was pure magic. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to receiving this. This felt really fun, really beautiful to share. And in closing, as always, if you're curious about anything I shared on this episode, anything that I've shared on any episode, anything that I talk about on my social media, if you want to learn more, let me know, DM me, reach out to me, send me a voice note, send me a typed out message, however you choose to communicate. I am so curious as to what insights and ideas and thoughts and whatever today's episode might have stirred up within you. So let me know about that. And then I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of this episode, but we are here in the last stretch of April, which means it is the last stretch of our DKC 50% off all of our breakthrough days and breakthrough experiences. You do not want to miss this. What I strongly encourage you to do if you want to learn more is just to head over to my social media, DM me the word breakthrough, and my team and I will get you everything that you need to learn more and get set up if that's something that you choose. I love you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.